Okay, I'm outside of my front porch, so if you see me getting like jittery, it's because I'm not used to doing videos like this outside where everybody could hear me if they're outside. So first of all, of course I have tarot decks. If you know me off of Facebook, you know that I like to offer readings for a very decent price, but people don't want to pay for it because they think I don't know what I'm talking about. But anyways, so I got some simple cards here that are from like the normal suit. I want to just give you like a brief explanation of what this looks like, because we are going to be talking about tarot and its correlation within the Bible, right? So here we have the Five of Pentacles. Pentacle is one of the suits, the four suits, I'm sorry. The four suits is Pentacle, Wand, Sword, and Cup. Okay, this is the 5. This card represents poverty, stripped. You're poor. You're going through a lot right now. This could mean injury, droughts, you're not having a good harvest, plenty of things, right? And then we have some of the higher court, but it's still a suit card. You have the Queen of Wands. This is a suit card, but it's a high court suit card, Queen of Wands. And then you'll have the King of Wands. And then obviously here you see we have the King of Swords. So the pentacles in the Rider-Waite symbolize your monetary connections, also your long-term commitments, and basically work in general, right? While water, the cups, pentacles is earth, water, the cups, represents your emotions and what you find yourself desiring through life, what you find yourself feeling, your intuition, the soul energy of yourself. And then swords is going to look like your mental plane, your intellectualized skills, your wisdom, your knowledge. And then what else? Yeah, I think I covered it all. Earth, air, water. Oh, then wands is fire, which is passion and pride and all things that could make or break a person, right? And also we have like major arcana cards. So these are not of a suit. They're not sword, they're not wand, they're not cup, they're not pentacle. They're just their own energetic force. They have their own meaning behind them. So here's the Wheel of Fortune. My favorite card, the one card we will actually be using to show the correlations of the tarot deck into how there are pagan ties and pagan ideologies in the Bible. We have the World card, right? We have the Judgment card. Okay. Temperance. The Devil. And then the Lovers. So just looking at those cards, I know you're thinking to yourself like, interesting. Okay, so now that you have like a better understanding of what the tarot deck pretty much compromises on, is those 4 suits, 1 through 10, and then you'll have the higher court cards, King, Queen, Knight, and Page or Knave, and then the major arcanas, right? So let's just do some basic history, chronological fact checking on the Rider-Waite. So the earliest references to tarot all date back to 1450 and the 1440s, and fall within the quadrilateral defined by the northern cities of Venice, Milan, Florence, and Urbino. Because of the complicated nature of the game by that point, it is likely that it had begun evolving earlier in this century. Tarot cards employed the standard Italian suits with values from 10 to 1, and with 4 face cards, King, Queen, Knight, Knave, for a total of 56 cards, alongside them with a Fool, that was considered the wild card. Tarot is a game of trick-taking. It is comprised of many trump cards clearly indicated, and even though there are many variations of mostly minor arcana cards, which are those suit cards, the rules of the game likely have not changed significantly since the 15th century. The present-day association of tarot with fortune-telling and the occult gained currency only in the 19th century and has nothing to do with medieval tarot cards. So yes, tarot cards initially were not used for fortune-telling. So the whole idea that tarot cards are deemed as tools of divination that are guided by demons is a bit of a far stretch. And also, I want to point out the dates of when these tarot cards were originally formed. 1450. So that's before your King James version of the Bible, or after he decided that some of these tarot cards were found in some of these witches' places of gaming, and he also decided that these tarot cards were deemed as witchery stitchery, and it is a force of demon guidance. Hence why it comes up in his demonology book, written by the almighty Prince James, right? That's also my last video of why King James really translated the Bible. So that's why there's such this negative outlook within Christianity on the tarot. But let's get into this a little bit more. So the highest trump is the World card, followed by the angels. The remaining trump cards in descending order are the Sun, Moon, Star, Temperance, Death, Traitor, Old Man, Wheel of Fortune, Fortitude, Chariot, Justice, Love, Pope, Emperor, Popus, Empress, and Mountebank, followed by the Fool. The older pack. This is an older pack. This is explaining a deck that I don't even have. But you can see some of the, like the Pope and the Popess would be the High Priestess and the Hierophant, right? I'm assuming the Old Man and the Traitor would be referencing the Hanged Man and the Hermit card. So it has many as 6 court cards per suit, including male and female of all ranks. In addition to more usual trumps, it also includes 3 theological virtues: faith, hope, and charity. Certain if this pack was uniquely structured, or if it represents an earlier stage before the tarots were standardized. And what I really want to focus on is the part that it says it has many as 6 court cards per suit, including male and female of all ranks. So again, we have this tool, this tarot deck, pushing towards this idea that even women are capable of being at the most highest rank as man, and that is pretty much deemed upon, not accepted within the King James Version, the New Testament, Christianity in general, Catholicism, yada yada yada. Okay, now scripture clarifies that psychics are evil, as they are highly disrespectful to the Lord. The Bible prohibits tarot cards because they're in association with divination. So yeah, it's not spoken lightly about in the Bible, especially the King James New Testament version, which was after 1450 and 1611, where he has taken over a country that is mostly of sorcerers and magicians and witches, and they believe that women are able to be at the same level as men within those higher ranks, and he does not like that. He does not like anything that has to do with witchery stitchery. So obviously the Bible is going to deem it as not okay, but then he also doesn't even realize that the Bible that he translated has so many symbolic imagery towards the rider way that he's just becoming a hypocrite. Okay, so here is some irony. The Bible, as you know, prohibits tarot or any form of divination. However, you will see many Christian symbols in the Rider-Waite-Smith tarot cards. Now, this also references to the website that I first clicked on, and I did read through its entirety because even though it was biased, I always had to put myself in that perspective so that way I'm gaining all knowledge. I'm not afraid to do so. And, you know, I also put down below the quote in the article that she's referencing, but she also goes into kind of meek that article. That article, and I quote, says, "I should clarify that although these essays' opening remarks regarding the schizophrenic nature of the tarot may carry a whiff of condescension, I quite enjoy the tarot's lack of cultural coherence." So that's some of the information on the article that she's referencing. But then she also says, so eloquently talks about how there is Christian iconography in the cards. For example, if you look at the lovers, you will see a nude couple in a fruit tree with a serpent right here, representing the Garden of Eden. Also looking at I don't have this card out. Also looking at the High Priestess card, you will see a puddle surrounding a crescent moon. That means the Immaculate Conception of Virgin Mary. So those are just a few examples how even though the Bible shuns tarot cards, you have plenty of examples of Christian iconography in the Red-White system. Based on that, you may see that tarot cards are not against Christianity, but that Christianity is against tarot cards, or this new form of Christianity. Hence why in my very original video of spiritual warfare, how they had this New Testament written essentially against the will of Jesus, because if you know anything about Jesus, you know that when he died on the cross, he was dying to end all of the rules of the Old Testament, end all of the doings of the Old Testament, because he lived out a perfect life, so that way everybody else could just pray unto him and follow your heart and you'll be okay. So who wrote this New Testament? Well, King James Version was written in 1611, and this was after 1405, where tarot decks were a thing, and after the witch trials were a thing. And you can start to see how, even though she likes to say that your tarot deck's more Christian than you thought, it's really the other way around. Your Bible is more pagan than you thought. So, are tarot cards against Christianity? As you may have already guessed, tarot cards are not against Christianity or any other religion. That is because the cards contain images from the Old and New Testament. Christianity, Judaism, and Islam shun tarot cards, and divination for the same reasons. Hence why, when you get into the Wheel of Fortune, you see the Sphinx. You see the Sphinx on the top right here, right? That's a Sphinx. That's of Egyptian culture. Let me just whip out the Chariot card, because I'm not playing with y'all. Oops. Also, a major arcana hints at Egyptian culture with the black and white Sphinx at the bottom. Okay? So, even though it has Christian iconology in it, it also has Egyptian magic and black magic within it. But anyways, let's keep reading what she says here. If you look at all 78 cards in the deck, you might also find bits and pieces of Christian iconography. It boils down to the history of why there are Christian symbols in tarot cards. When the church was in power, that is when tarot cards developed. Okay, it was used as a game. It was developed when the church was in power. However, it is not used as a divination tool. It was used as a game known as tarot key. Tarot key. Okay, was full of Christian teachings, which is why the card have plenty of symbolism regarding religion. Those who had rigorous religious training understood how the game worked. However, in the 1780s, tarot went from being a game to fortune telling, as occultists in France established that, according to Britannica. And even then, tarot cards were not against Christianity, and still are not, even though the Bible is against tarot cards for divination. However, the interesting thing is that there have been some shifts regarding Christian using tarot cards. So it's not that Christianity itself, the idea of following Christ, it's not that is against tarot cards. The Bible is against tarot cards. King James himself and what he wanted to act out in his life and put into control after that is against tarot cards. So the idea that tarot cards are only used for divination is beginning to dissipate, because many people are discovering that they can use tarot for other things, such as stimulating creativity and self-reflection. Therefore, you're beginning to find more Christians accepting tarot because they realize that the cards have other uses other than divination. Hence why the whole idea of Christ going and understanding other things outside of himself and what is put in front of him, you will see that tarot cards, even though they are deemed as occult or divination, it does have benefiting qualities to it. So Muller has a book called The Contemplative Tarot, a Christian guide to the cards, about how Christians can incorporate tarot into their daily practices. She states that there are new spiritual practices that Christians can utilize and involve the tarot without using any divination, and instead of much of it can be for self-reflection, which can be therapeutic. Others can use the cards for playing while immersing themselves in the images on the card. With that said, Christian-based tarot decks for these purposes are listed in the Eclectic Tarot Forum. Eclectic meaning I'm not a green witch, I'm not a hearth witch, I'm not a water witch, I'm just as is. Okay, so to sum it up, the divination is not accepted by the Bible, which is why the Bible shuns tarot cards. However, since tarot cards were originally not tools used for divination, Christianity not only had no issue with tarot, but embraced the cards as a game. That changed when occultists began using tarot for divination purposes. However, slowly but surely, many Christians are using tarot for other spiritual uses and for self-reflection. Basically, exactly why the occultists were using them, because they were helpful. Okay, so that's pretty much all I have written down when it comes to the information regarding tarot, its upbringing. Now I really want to get into the symbology of them and the true story, how the symbology is there of what the true story is and what it really looks like versus what you may be being told by your New King James Version of the Bible. So I want to first start off with the Lovers and the Devil card. As you can see, there are plenty of synchronicities among these two cards, right? So as we were talking earlier, the Lover's card, the serpent on this side, they didn't explain Adam's side, but because I'm a witch and I actually understand it, the fires in the tree, men are very prone to getting stuck in their brain and being very intellectual beings. And when you're so stuck in your head, you get close to your ego body, and the ego body is meant to entrap and enslave and control and not be present, be here. Pride, ego, passion, right? Like, so he gains control of that and he uses it to, instead of control and, cause harm, he uses it for the betterment of the garden, for protecting and cultivating and mastering this lifetime. And then obviously Eve and feminine energy is close to Kundalini energy. This is seductive energy. This is occult knowledge and wisdom and intuition. It is known that women are naturally tied closer to that occult energy, that wisdom, that intuition, or so-called God. We women are closer to that just solely because we can procreate. Not taking away the fact that men cannot seed us and implant us, but we are the ones that actively make that portal happen, bringing life into this realm. We are taking control of the uncontrollable around us. Okay. Now, when you have the Lover's card, initially this is more of a choice, hence why the angelic force comes in and protects this connection, because they're choosing to basically manifest what it is that they know their heart is calling them to do, rather than what their pride or their seductive energy may be calling them to do. Because when you act on those lower vibrational frequencies of seductive energy for control, or manipulative and physical control from a man, you become bound by this devil, right? When really it's just yourself. Hence why the hangman, he kind of put himself there, right? That is the story of the hangman. He put himself there. He hung himself upside down for the whole idea to see a different perspective. Now this, you may not be doing this to see a different perspective, right? You may be doing that for a little bit of a different reason. But I really enjoy this because it puts so much accountability on the self. Yes, all you have to do is really just take control of yourself, your emotions, your thoughts, the things that you want, the things that you see yourself doing in life, and following that, rather than staying stuck in fear-like mindsets and low security, insecurity, right? Acting out of need for control because you can't conceptualize that you're not in control. That's kind of like the dynamic here, right? Because the Lovers is 6 and then the Devil is 15. 1 plus 5 is 6. Hence why you'll see these tarot cards in the numerology book. I can also do that. I can also do a video if you want me to. Basically doing a rundown of the tarot cards in numerology. Why are tarot cards really even in a numerology book? But I do have a numerology book, and it goes into detail about every single card in the Rider-Waite system at a numerological standpoint. And that really helps you understand even further how this is not meant to harm anybody. Now, could you use it for harm? Sure. There's probably witches out there doing black magic and hexing you with tarot cards. But is it very likely? No. So, my second favorite cards is going to be the World card and the Wheel of Fortune. Both of these cards speak of the divine 4 beasts in the Revelations that sit at the judgment throne. So when people are called to heaven and he says, depart from me, or allows you to walk through the gates of heaven, so-called, and, you know, he's doing this judgment call, there is said to be 21 elders. Sorry, the school bus is dropping the kids off. There are said to be 21 elders, and then 4 beasts with 4 eyes in the back and behind. If you don't believe me, go look at the Revelations. You'll find it, okay? And if you need me to, you know what? Don't even worry. It's going to be in the description box below, okay? But it speaks about the 4 beasts and the 21 elders that sit with God, along with the 4 archangels, when bringing people to the gates of hell, or saying depart heaven. Gates of heaven, or saying depart from me. So the Wheel of Fortune, like I said before, it hints at Egyptian culture with the Sphinx there. But I want to talk about these 4 beasts because they're depicted in both the Wheel card and the World card, right? So we have the Lion. These are all fixed signs. Lion for Leo, the Bull for Taurus, the Man for Scorpio, and the Eagle for Aquarius. Now, I could have these 2 mixed up, you know. And these beasts, in full description, come up in the Revelations. Full description. These beasts right here. The divine fixed beasts of Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, and Aquarius sit at the throne of Judgment Call. It's so frustrating because, like, I really get tempted to say sometimes that witchcraft is the true form of Christianity. Occult wisdom and knowledge is the true form of Christianity. But I can't say that because I don't even like the word Christianity. And no one wants to hear that. But as you can see, even with Temperance, this is ran by Sagittarius. Temperance, this is Archangel Michael. He is performing alchemy. Do you know what alchemy is? That is sorcery. Just look up what alchemy is in occult wisdom. Y'all got Google. So yeah, I mean, this is pretty much all I got for you. I just wanted to show you how these 4 beasts come up in full description of the Revelations of the Bible, and how there's Christian iconography in the tarot card system. And because tarot is now considered an evil substance within the Bible after King James translated it, we have this blockade of true knowledge when it comes to the higher self, what is the most best use of life, who really is in control of the uncontrollable, right? So yeah, that's what I got for you guys today. I gave you a little bit of information on where tarot really formed and when, and then I kind of gave you that chronological order of when that came into play from when King James finally came into King and translated that Bible, and why the Bible speaks so negatively of tarot cards. Because if you watch my last video, you'll see him speaking of it. It's witchery stitchery. He doesn't like it. When really, it was never bad. It was used for the religion. Anyways, I hope that was informative for you guys.